Robert Seymour Bridges, an introduction. Robert Seymour Bridges, Order of Merit, was born on 23rd of October 1844 at Walmer in Kent, where he spent his early childhood in a house overlooking the anchoring ground of the British fleet. His father died aged only 47 in 1853. A year later his mother remarried, and the family relocated to Rochdale, where his stepfather was the vicar. In 1854 Bridges was sent to Eton College and attended until 1863. After Eton he went to Corpus Christi, Oxford, where he became good friends with Gerard Manley Hopkins and would later compile an edition of his poems that is now considered a major contribution to English literature. He graduated from Oxford in 1867 with a second-class degree in literae humaniores, the classics. Initially he planned to join the Church of England and travelled to the Middle East to broaden his religious horizons. However, he soon decided that life as a physician would be a better path, and after 8 months studying German, that being the language of many scientific papers of the time, he began his study of medicine at St. Bartholomew's Hospital in 1869. His long-term ambition was that by the age of 40 he could retire from medicine to devote himself to writing. Unfortunately, Bridges failed his final medical exams in 1873, and as unable to immediately retake the papers, spent 6 months in Italy learning Italian, as well as immersing himself in its art. In July 1874 he went to Dublin to continue his medical studies. Re-examined in December, he passed and became a house physician at St. Bartholomew's Hospital. It was whilst here that he engaged in a series of highly critical remarks about the Victorian medical establishment. One such was his claim that whilst working as a young doctor, he saw a staggering 30,940 patients in 1 year. A bout of severe pneumonia and lung disease forced his retirement from the medical profession in 1882, and so, slightly ahead of schedule, he began his literary career in earnest. He had already been writing for several years and had published his first poetry collection in 1873. After his illness and another trip to Italy, Bridges moved with his mother to Yattendon in Berkshire. It was during this time, from 1882 to 1904, that Bridges wrote most of his best-known lyrics, as well as 8 plays and 2 masques, all in verse. It was also here in 1884 that he married Monica Waterhouse. They would go on to have 3 children and spend the rest of their lives in rural seclusion, in an idyllic marriage. Bridges made an important contribution to hymnody with the publication in 1899 of his Yattendon Hymnal. The collection of hymns became a bridge between the Victorian hymnody of the late 19th century and the modern hymnody of the early 20th century. He was also a chorister at Yattendon Church for 18 years. In 1902, Monica and his daughter Margaret became seriously ill with tuberculosis, and a move from Yattendon to a healthier climate was in order. After several temporary homes, they moved abroad to spend a year in Switzerland before returning to settle again in England at Chilswell House, which Bridges had designed and built on Boars Hill overlooking Oxford University. The office of Poet Laureate was held by Alfred Austin, but with his death it was offered first to Rudyard Kipling, who refused it, and then to Bridges. He was appointed Poet Laureate in 1913 by George V, the only medical graduate to have ever held the office. Bridges at this time was neither highly regarded nor well known, but a safe pair of hands in a world rapidly being overshadowed by the storms about to erupt over Europe and the First World War. The events of this war, including the wounding of his son Edward, had a sobering effect on Bridges's poetry. His work became fiercely patriotic. In 1915 he edited a volume of prose and poetry, The Spirit of Man, intended to appeal to readers living in war times. Despite being Poet Laureate, Bridges was never a very well-known poet, and only achieved popularity shortly before his death with The Testament of Beauty. Many of his poems, though, were set to music by such noted composers as Ghizela.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?